how am I supposed to feel about that one? So many emotions running high right now. Wow, Bayern Munich went down 0-2 against RB Leipzig in a pathetic first half, scored 2 goals in 1 minute in the second half, scored a goal in the 83rd minute, a rocket of a missile by Leroy Sane. The players are on the field, everybody's ready to celebrate. I got my beer mug here. And then, oh no, there's 94 minutes of stoppage time, and in the 95th minute at the death, Leipzig scores to equalize, and that's why my mug is empty. That's why there are no trophy celebrations today. Welcome back to the Always Bayern Chelsea show, one and all. Today is Saturday, May 3rd. Recording this one fresh off of the 3-3 draw, Bayern Munich and RB Leipzig, in what could have been, in what almost was, the curse-breaking match. But no, fate, one more time, had to curse poor old Harry Kane. Whew, man, we got a lot to talk about in this one here. A roller coaster of a match, as I laid out. So many emotions, flying up, flying down. I mean, man, where do we even begin? I guess I should mention this is a video episode, so subscribe to the YouTube channel, Always Bayern Chelsea, for consistent coverage of all these big matches. And just the season as a whole, as things kind of come to a close here. Jim is the one who's out of town this week, so I'm not sure exactly what the Chelsea coverage is going to look like. That's going to be up to Jim and what he can produce for us here. Let's stick to Bayern Munich because, yeah, I showed you. The beer mug is empty. I'm not celebrating yet. Now, this draw for Bayern Munich against RB Leipzig essentially clinches the Bundesliga title. Right now, Leverkusen plays tomorrow, so they have 3 matches left. Bayern Munich has 2 matches left, and Bayern Munich sits ahead of Bayer Leverkusen right now by 9 points. If Leverkusen wins tomorrow, it'll be 6 points, meaning that even if Bayern were to lose their last 2 games, Leverkusen were to win their last 3, and then they would be even on points. Bayern has a better goal differential by 30 goals right now, so essentially, you know, if Leverkusen wins every match by 10 goals and Bayern completely chokes, then Leverkusen will be champions. But it's highly, highly unlikely that will happen. Damn near impossible. I can't say impossible, but damn near impossible. So we kind of all knew that Bayern Munich was going to end up as champions these last couple weeks, and that's still how things are looking. But the trophy has not been officially presented because of that crazy match that just happened. Hey, let me start with Vincent Kompany's lineup for this one. As you may know if you have listened to this show, Harry Kane was suspended after a BS yellow card last week, making it his 5th yellow card of the season, suspending him for a match. He did travel with the team, which was nice. They certainly showed him up in the stands looking dejected, and then down on the pitch looking like he was about to celebrate with the team until that last-minute equalizer. Yeah, we don't need to talk about it too much anymore, but I think it was a bad call to give him that yellow last week and suspend him for this match. Really a nitpicky thing that if you are to call time-wasting yellows like the one that Kane got, you'd be giving out about 25 yellows every match. So that's in the past now. Let's talk about how Kompany set up Bayern Munich for this one, because it was a little bit of a weird lineup. Obviously, you have so many injuries on the back line that, the defense isn't going to be, on point or used to playing with each other no matter what you do. But what ended up happening was sort of SofaScore has it listed as a 4-4-2. It was almost kind of like a 4-2-2-2. And then in possession, out of possession, the shape completely changed. It was a back 3 like Bayern usually does at times with Kimmich moving back there. So, I'm going to list off what the lineup is on SofaScore, but just know that it didn't really function in this way. You have Jonas Urbig as the keeper. I actually thought that Neuer was going to play today. He had been training with the team, so I figured that he was going to be the one getting the call, but no, it was Urbig again. And Urbig, yeah, he played like a rookie. He had a bad mistake that led to that first goal, but really, the whole back line in that first half was not on the same page, so I'm not blaming him solely for the woes of this defense in that first half, but Yeah, we saw just an out-of-position line. We saw Leimer at left back. Leimer's a midfielder, but moonlighting as a right back, doing a great job all season. He didn't have a bad match today, even as a left back. The center back combination was Josip Stanisic, who is a right back, can play left back, and now is playing center back, and Eric Dier. I thought Stanisic did pretty well, and I thought that Dier actually did great outside of some first half miscommunications and stumbles. Dier was actually probably one of our best players on the pitch. Sacha Boey at the right back, man, I feel bad for the guy. His time at Bayern has been bad. He was probably the worst player on the pitch today. He's just not a Bayern Munich caliber player at this point. It was a horrible decision by Christoph Freund last winter to go ahead and buy him and to pay 30 million for him. That was horrible. We sold Mazraoui for much less, and he's a much better player than Sacha Boey. So yeah, unfortunately, that right side of the field, until Boey came off, was pretty dreadful. Boey and Olise were the worst two players on the pitch in the first half for Bayern Munich, for sure, I thought. Really just dreadful between those two. They weren't linking up. It's so much better when Leimer or Stanisic or somebody else is playing right back. And again, I feel bad for Boey, right? He came over last year in the winter, was forced to play out of position for a match, and then was injured for the whole year. Was injured for pretty much the whole year this year, and now that he's back, he just can't really fit in. Maybe it's the system, maybe it's just his game, maybe he just isn't and won't ever be a Bayern Munich caliber player. But whatever the case may be, it's not looking good for him. And again, I feel bad for the guy, but I think he's going to be sold in the summer. The midfield pivot, I guess you could call it, was Kimmich and Pavlovic. Again, Kimmich kind of went back into the back line to form a back three, while Boey and Leimer were really far up the pitch, as we see Kompany likes to do with those fullbacks. And then, yeah, Kimmich, I thought, was not great in the first half, but very good in the second half. Very, very good in the second half. And Pavlovic, not a great day from him overall. Maybe not horrific or anything like that, but it wasn't a noteworthy match from Pavlovic. You also saw Leroy Sane on the left side there and Michael Olise on the right side. And then the two most forward attackers to start the match were Thomas Müller on the left and Serge Gnabry on the right. So that's roughly how the team lined up. Müller wasn't his best match. Gnabry wasn't his best match either, but I thought he did get better towards the end of the match. First half, I'll just straight up say it, nobody on Bayern was good in the first half. Really, really dreadful first half. They just looked like they weren't in sync. They just weren't on the same page. Maybe it was the formation. Maybe they had already won the title in their minds and started to celebrate. But yeah, it just wasn't great. The team just did not, like I said, that back line looked really poor in the first half. Luckily, whatever Kompany said to those boys in the locker room at halftime certainly changed things, because the team did look quite a bit better in that second half. Right off the rip, when this match starts, a minute in, maybe less than a minute, Jonas Urbig has a phenomenal save. Off of a corner, I want to say, Eric Dier kind of slips, and essentially Leipzig just has a point-blank shot at Urbig. Goes near post. Urbig, hey, watch the video episode for this, because I'll give you a real-time demonstration of what he did, but he kind of stuck out both his arms, and the ball hit one of his arms, and it was just a sweet, sweet save. But yeah, the first goal there in the 11th minute, I believe, for Leipzig was just an embarrassing, laughable miscommunication in the back line. Olise turns the ball over way too easily to start this Leipzig counter, which Leipzig was very good on the counter today. Their attacking players are very fast. This Leipzig team has a lot of talent on their roster. They haven't been able to put it together all year for long stretches of time and be a cohesive team like they should be. it's hard when you're Leipzig because their whole model is to buy guys, kind of like Dortmund used to do, develop their talent a little bit and then sell them for a profit. So, it can't be easy to build up chemistry when that's kind of your whole model. And like, there's teams that, Frankfurt, for example, they are very good at selling off their strikers, right? We just saw it with Omar Marmoush, and the last couple of years they've made a ton of money on strikers. But Frankfurt still has veteran guys. They still have like leadership glue guys, whereas Leipzig, yeah, their model is kind of just get this high-flying talent, develop it, and sell it for a profit. That being said, Olise loses the ball to start this counter, and then none of the center backs, Dier and Stanisic, pick up Benjamin Sesko at this point, who's streaking down, about to score. Neither Stanisic nor Dier pick him up, and Urbig is so far off his line. Like, Sesko kind of like chips it over his head, but also it was a good finish. Like, he was far away enough from the goal where it wasn't like just a simple chip shot. He actually had to have a nice finish, but Urbig was so far up and was off his line, and either thought that he could get to the ball or one of the center backs was going to pick up Sesko at that point, because just laughably bad right there. For that goal to happen. Second goal then comes in the 39th minute for Leipzig, and it was just off of a free kick. Nobody really played defense on Bayern. Just a simple kind of like cross in. I think Xavi Simons took the free kick, if I'm remembering correctly, and yeah, just led to another simple goal for Leipzig. And man, I said it before, but nobody on Bayern Munich was looking good in this first half. I don't know what was going on, but thankfully we went into halftime at that point, because some adjustments definitely needed to be made. And second half, Leipzig kind of packed it in a little bit more, starts off the second half with a 2-goal lead, right? So they're thinking, let's pack it in, let's defend. Bayern probably didn't even have a single big chance in the first half, maybe one, but I talked about how dreadful the defending was. The offense wasn't much better, to be honest with you. Nobody in the offense was doing good. Olise, like I said, was particularly poor. I thought that Sane was probably looking the best in the first half, was looking the most dangerous throughout the whole match. I guess, spoiler alert, I think Sane was the best player for Bayern Munich. He was the man of the match. So, I mean, even in the first half, he was not great, but he was better than, Olise, Muller, Gnabry. So that's how I'm looking at it. And then really the 60th minute is what I consider the moment of the match, which is some subs were made. Specifically, Sacha Boey came off, and also Thomas Muller came off, and then Kingsley Coman and Leon Goretzka came on, and that was where things really started to look better for Bayern. Kimmich kind of shifts into that right back position like more solidly, and Goretzka kind of falls into the midfield pivot with Pavlovic there. And then, Coman goes to that left side. Olise kind of pushes up a little bit more too. So, those like formation changes, and again, like, I don't want to say that, Bayern, Bayern's getting crushed only because of Sacha Boey, but he just didn't fit. And the positional changes that happened with those subs, it was like a switch went off, and Bayern Munich was way more in sync. They were way more aggressive. They were way more just direct in their attack. And their efforts were paid off. In the 62nd minute, we saw Eric Dier. Eric Dier, what do you know? The hero. I don't know why I like enunciated hero like that, but maybe to make it rhyme with what do you know? I don't know. I'm really just shooting off rip here, but Eric Dier has a wonderful header off of a corner, a Michael Olise corner, which, maybe this is a conversation for a different day, but Kimmich is not always the best at taking corners, and he takes 95% of Bayern's corners. So that's a number I pulled out of my ass, by the way. That's not a specific number, but it's not something like that probably. And so Olise takes this one, and it was a goal. again, a wonderful, wonderful header from Eric Dier, the man himself. I made a short about this last week, but I'm so sad that he's leaving Bayern Munich. The guy just steps up. Every damn time his number is called, he steps up and he performs, and he's trying his hardest to drag this team across the finish line, to save a season. It's Eric Dier. I mean, the man was our best player, that's a stretch, our best center back in the Champions League matches this year and last year. And I know we're dealing with injuries, right? Like Upamecano has had a very good year this year. And Alphonso Davies too, even on the left back. But Eric Dier was just the man in the Champions League this year, and he was last year too. And we obviously dealt with injuries last year. De Ligt was injured for that first leg against Madrid. Kim and Upa were so banged up all the stretch run last year, as they are this year. And Eric Dier just stepped up. You know, I've said it a million times, but Spurs fans, you know, they think, yeah, just toss him aside. He's not going to give you anything. You know, even Bayern fans were skeptical. Anybody had the right to be skeptical. Dier's time at Spurs did not go well, but here he is in a Bayern jersey, reviving his career, about to win his first trophy too. Don't forget, Harry Kane isn't the only Spursy guy out there who doesn't have a trophy. Eric Dier is also about to win his first trophy, and man, oh man, does he deserve it. So, you know, he's going to get more playing time. He's going to get a longer salary at Monaco. That's where he's going next year. So I respect him. A longer contract, a bigger salary, I'm sure. So I respect him for making that choice. I wish Bayern would have offered him a contract extension maybe a little bit sooner for a little bit more money or something where he would have wanted to stay. But yeah, now Bayern's going to have to get a center back because Dier really is the guy who can communicate well on that back line, and we're going to need to rotate our center backs more next year so that this situation doesn't happen for the third year in a row where we're down the stretch and Kim and Upa are both injured. But less than a minute after Eric Dier scored that goal, Leipzig gets the ball for the kickoff. You know, after you score a goal, go to the middle of the pitch, kickoff. Bayern steals essentially off the kickoff, not off the first kickback, but steals the ball right off the kickoff. Gnabry had a part of it, I believe. He might have actually, Gnabry got the assist on that one. Michael Olise gets the goal, and from then on, Michael Olise especially looks like a different player. So it's 2-2 at that point. I couldn't believe what just happened. They didn't even show the start of this goal because, the cameras are still showing the replay from the last goal, and all of a sudden it's back and Bayern is scoring, and I'm like, what the hell just happened? How did that even happen? So at that point, I'm thinking, all right, I'll just take a draw. You know, this has been such a weird match, not to mention it's downpouring and rain. The pitch is super slippery, and from then on, Bayern Munich was totally rejuvenated. I mean, I said it before, but they were awakened. They looked like a different team. All of the attacking players looked so much better. The defense finally looked like they were on the same page. And we saw a flurry of chances there. The biggest chance was Kingsley Coman. Man, one-on-one with an empty net, and he missed it. I again, feel bad for Coman because I think he's such a good guy. He seems like just a good leader in the locker room, a good player who's been so important to the club's history, obviously scoring the Champions League winning goal, but his time at the club might be up. His shooting is not good. His crossing is not great. He can still beat a guy one-on-one, which we saw here. He beat the keeper. I forget who made this pass, but it was a wonderful pass. Coman had a brilliant first touch, beat a defender, and then beat the keeper, and then his second touch was too heavy, and he just kind of kicked it out of bounds instead of really putting on a shot at an open net. So that was a massively disappointing moment in this match. Coman actually had another chance to win the game. I think this second shot I'm thinking of was saved, so it was on target, but man, like two really good chances from Kingsley Coman there to put this game away. But instead, in the 83rd minute, the man who did want to put this match and the season, I will add, and the Bundesliga season away was Leroy Sane. Yep, the guy who gets so much hate, the guy who was our best player on the day, fires in a missile of a shot, an absolute rocket ship missile. Leroy Sane, in the 83rd minute, just a really good play by Bayern Munich as a whole in general. Gnabry had a huge part of the build-up in this play, passed it over to Kimmich. Kimmich does this back heel flip over to Sane, who maybe takes a touch or two, finds himself with just a little bit of space, but when Leroy Sane is confident and on, and you give him an inch of space, he'll fire an absolute ballistic missile into the corner of the net, and that's exactly what he did here. Everybody's celebrating. Oh, the league is won. Kane has finally got that monkey off his back and gets the trophy. It's over. Everybody is on the pitch basically. Kompany is on the pitch. Kane's coming down from the stands to the pitch to celebrate with the team. 88th minute, we saw another sub. João Palhinha comes on for Serge Gnabry just to shore up that defense, give Palhinha some minutes, whatever. The season's over. The league's won anyways. Stoppage time is ticking through. We got 4 minutes of stoppage time. We're already at the end. We're in the 94th minute. Wait a minute. Leipzig scores a goal, 95th minute, at the absolute death, snatching the trophy from Bayern Munich's fingertips in one last, because I promise you next week this is all going to be over. It's all going to feel like a fever dream. Harry Kane's whole career is going to feel like a fever dream for him, but yes, one final time, the gods of football, fate, swoops in and says, Kane, not yet. We have too sick of a sense of humor to let this happen in the way that everybody thought it was going to happen, basically. And yeah, just poor defending by Bayern Munich on this last goal. I mean, their heads were certainly in the clouds at this point. And we've seen this happen way too many times this season. So this is indicative of a bigger problem for this team. But yeah, the ball's kind of ping-ponging back and forth in the box. Goretzka gets it. Some might say Goretzka should have cleared it, but he passes to Coman, who, instead of clearing it or passing it or doing anything positive, just loses the ball, and yeah, it goes in for a nice little chip shot over the keeper. Yeah, like I said, Coman loses that ball. Leipzig threads a pass through to an open player who chips it over Urbig's head, and everybody's stunned. I mean, the trophy was there. It was, the celebration was about to take place. Kompany was already running on the pitch. Everybody was running on the pitch, and we're stunned. We leave stunned. Now, ultimately, I said this in the opening of the episode, but it's mathematically possible, sure, for Leverkusen to catch up Bayern, make up a 30-goal differential in 3 games, but yeah, the title is essentially Bayern Munich's. I mean, that point was really all Bayern needed. The official celebration can't happen now. Let's have a party next week. How about we play Gladbach next week at home, which would be a beautiful send-off for Thomas Muller, a beautiful trophy ceremony if Bayern can draw or win, or if Leverkusen draws or loses today, or actually they play tomorrow, Sunday. Then the trophy celebration will happen in Munich next week regardless. So it's going to happen. It is going to happen. I'm not, I guess somebody who is that superstitious or something like that, where I feel like I can't say it's going to happen, because it is going to happen. But it's just so sad and funny how much of a roller coaster this match was, and how it ended, and how the season is going. But yeah, I mean, we get the 3-3 draw against Leipzig. We get a point. We have 2 matches left now. Like I said, Gladbach next week. Hoffenheim is our final match 2 weeks from now. Let's just have a party next week. Let's just all celebrate a hard-fought season. The Bundesliga trophy is the most honest trophy because it's won over a full year. There's no luck involved per se. Maybe there is sometimes, but it's not like a knockout tournament where injuries or luck have a much bigger say. The Bundesliga trophy is an honest trophy. The Bundesliga is my favorite league in the world, so it's my first personal favorite. Maybe it's just waking up on Saturday mornings and watching these matches, but yeah, it's just something about the Bundesliga. I personally love German football. I love it. There's a lot of fans who are going to say it's a farmers league or it doesn't matter. Or, I've heard it all at this point. Everybody loves the Premier League. Whatever. I don't like the Premier League as much as the Bundesliga, but it's going to be a well-deserved trophy for this squad, for Vincent Kompany, for this team, because it's been a hard-fought, bounce-back season. Vincent Kompany has come in, and sure, his European campaign wasn't great, wasn't perfect. We got bounced from the Pokal, but overall, he's done very, very well with this team in the Bundesliga. So Bayern Munich deserves this trophy. They're going to get it eventually, but not this week. I'll have to fill this guy up here, this mug up here, if you're only an audio listener, I guess. A different day and celebrate. So, hey, maybe it'll be next week. Maybe we'll head down to the old German beer hall here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and have a party and celebrate in true fashion like we should. So, yeah, just a wild, bizarre roller coaster of a match today. I think that's where I'm going to leave it. We'll see what Leverkusen does tomorrow. We'll head home to the Allianz Arena to play Gladbach next week, and hopefully, Kane will be playing, and it'll be a real title celebration for a hard-earned trophy. That's about it for me today. And stay tuned. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, of course. Always Bayern Chelsea. We got so much good content for you coming up here. End of the season stuff. We got a lot of fun stuff planned, and we still got the Club World Cup, so don't forget about that. I'll send us off now. Mia san Mia.